What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another scooter video. My name is Chase Ross if you guys are new to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to heel whip. Heel whips are really important because it allows you to open up your whole range of scooter tricks that you guys can do. Things like whip rewinds, kicklesses, and any trick that involves just the heel whip motion. It's going to allow you guys to do that trick combo a lot easier, especially when you learn how to properly heel whip from the start. But now let's get into today's video. For starters, I always like to make sure that we put our helmets on. There's no reason not to wear a helmet, no matter how basic the trick is. It's just gonna make you live a lot longer. Now that we have our helmets on, let's get the basics out of the way. For starters, let's make sure that we have the basic scooter controls and we can control our scooter just maneuvering on the ground comfortably. Now after that, let's make sure that we can actually bunny hop. If we can't bunny hop, we're not going to be able to get off the ground to do the heel whip motion. If you guys do not know how to bunny hop, go up in the upper right hand corner and click that tutorial on how to bunny hop, and you guys will have your bunny hops in no time. But now, let's get into heel whips. Jumping into step number 1. First, we're going to have to decide if we're goofy or regular. This is going to determine which way we're going to be whipping our heel whips. Now, the best way to determine if we're goofy or regular is just to hop onto your scooter. What do you naturally do? Do you naturally point your toes to the left, or do you naturally point them to the right? That's going to determine if you're goofy or regular. If you point them to the left, you're going to be goofy. I ride goofy. If you point them to the right, you're going to be riding regular. Now that we've decided if we're goofy or regular, that's going to determine which way we're going to be whipping our heel whips. So if we're goofy, we're going to be whipping them clockwise. And then if we're regular, we're going to be whipping them counterclockwise. Alright, now that we know if we stand goofy or regular, that's going to make it a lot easier to actually start practicing this motion. So let's dive into step number 2. That is going to be literally just practicing this motion over and over again. Just like in my toe whip tutorial where I taught you guys how to toe whip, we got to practice this motion right here. But now, we're going to reverse it. So we're going to start the kickoff, and then we're going to rock our arms back and forth just like this. I went over this in my how to toe whip tutorial where I taught you guys how to rock the motion of your bars back and forth. If you guys need some extra help on learning how to rock your bars like this, go check out that tutorial in the upper right hand corner. But back to heel whips. So right now we're just rocking our arms back and forth just like this. We want to keep the heel whip controlled and centered right in front of us. It's a little bit of a different motion than a normal tail whip, so it's going to work those arms and mind in a different way. You want to learn this quite well because it's going to help when it comes to doing multiple heel whips and keeping that motion going. Now that we've been doing this for a while and we're getting the whips down and nice and controlled, we're going to keep our back foot ready to catch this deck as it comes around. Perfect. Are you guys still with me? Because we're on step number 3. Right here we're going to be talking about foot placement. We got to know what our feet are going to be doing when we're doing the heel whip. So for starters, let's get that back foot close to that back brake back here. We want to be using the arch of our foot right here to stand on our deck. We want to have the arch slightly on the back part of the deck right here, hanging off, because that's going to be our kicking force when we do the heel whip. Again, the arch is right there on the back of our deck because we're going to be using our heels to kick the heel whip. Now our front foot, just going to be chilling between our nose and our back foot, right in the middle, just in a comfy spot. I personally like to stay on my toes, so when I'm about to do a heel whip, I have my toes pointed up in the air like this because it allows me to follow through with the deck and kick it around the rest of the way after my back foot kicks it. So again, I'm putting my back foot on the back part of the deck right here. My front foot is going between my back foot and the head tube up here, just like this. Now that we know where our foot placement's going to be, you guys are ready for step number 4. You guys are going to want to pay close attention to this step because this step is going to be the most important step of them all. We're going to be talking about the step, kick, catch motion. Just like in my how to toe whip tutorial, this step has to be the most important step because it's your body moving in motion while you're putting all the key elements into place. We've already talked about which way you're going to be whipping the deck, and we've talked about where our foot is going to be placed on the deck when we're actually attempting the trick. Now we got to tie those together, and we're going to actually roll, step off of our scooter, kick the deck around with our back foot, catch with our back foot, roll straight ahead. Now when we're catching the deck with our back foot, we really want to focus on catching it with the arch of our foot, like I talked about before. This is going to allow it to catch and bring down and absorb a lot easier if we're actually using the sole of our foot to absorb the whip. So what we're going to do right here, you want to find a nice open spread of land that you can just basically practice this motion over and over again and just keep it going in a straight line. So we're going to go step off, kick, catch, step off, kick, catch. Now while you guys are practicing this motion, you do not want to be kicking this thing out really far in front of you. The goal of this is to keep it really nice and precise underneath you, just like this. If you're going up here, you're doing it wrong. You got to make sure you're keeping it underneath your body the whole entire time. That's going to make this trick a lot easier to learn. So again, we're going straight forward, stepping off, kicking, catching. Now eventually you guys are going to want this to be able to be super smooth, and you're going to be able to hop onto it just like this. Step, kick, catch. Step, kick, catch. Just like that. Once you have it buttery smooth like that, you guys are now ready to move on to step number 5. Now step number 5 is another good one that you guys are going to want to pay close attention to, because when you're doing this trick, you want to keep it under you. I talked about this in step number 4. You don't want to have your scooter kicking really far out like that. So to help demonstrate this, what we're going to do is we're going to draw 2 parallel lines right here on the screen. So when we're holding our scooter like this, we want to keep the parallel lines like that. We want to keep it parallel. If our scooter is going outside of the lines like that, it's not parallel, and the trick's gonna be a lot harder to catch and keep under us when we're doing the heel whip. So when we're doing this trick, we wanna keep it just like that. If we're doing it and we're kicking the heel whip like this, it's gonna be a lot harder to catch when we actually do the trick in the air. The scooter's gonna get away from us, and it's gonna be really hard to get both feet back on. So again, we're keeping it right underneath us, keeping that heel up nice and level with us, keeping our bars nice and parallel with our body. That way the deck's just spinning around the bars. And then to do multiple heel whips, we're gonna just activate our hands, motion, and rock it back and forth, and keep it under us, just like that. At this point, you guys are now ready to combine steps 1 through 5 together and go out and send your very first heel whips. But hold up, before you guys go out and start trying your own heel whips, let me leave you guys with a couple tips and answers to a couple common questions that I get when riders are trying heel whips. Common question number 1, why can't I get the deck all the way around? You gotta practice the motion. Practice that step, kick, catch motion, and also practice rocking your arms back and forth like that, and you'll be able to get that deck around in no time. Common question number 2, I can't get the deck under my feet. You got to keep the bars parallel to you. If you're kicking out really far, you're not going to be able to get your feet back on the deck. That's also going to make it really hard to land level, because your scooter is going to be at an angle and you're going to have to force it back under your body to get it around. Common question number 3, I can only get one foot on. Now the way to get both feet on is you got to commit. Try to keep both feet together upon the landing. Once you catch it with your back foot, get that other foot to follow like a magnet and catch onto your back foot. And also a very common problem that keeps a lot of people's feet off is leaning too far back or too far forward. Really, you just want to find that center balance point and make sure that you're landing level. This will be a lot easier to keep both feet on your scooter when you're landing if you're level. If you're not level, you're going to be leaning too far back, having to keep your foot off just to save yourself. Or same thing, if you're going too far forward, you're going to have to keep that foot off just to save yourself. So make sure you're staying balanced. Now let me leave you guys with a couple real quick tips before you go out and set them for yourself. You want to catch this trick like you're catching an egg. You know when you catch an egg? You're catching it and you're absorbing it really softly so it doesn't crack. You're doing the same thing with your heel up. As the heel up comes around, you got to make sure that your back foot is catching it with the arch of your foot, and you're absorbing it and bringing it around, getting it center underneath your body so you can land and roll away perfectly and smoothly. And of course, the last one, which is literally a repeat, keep the scooter underneath you. I can't explain how important this is. If you guys can keep the scooter underneath you, this trick is going to be 10 million times easier. But that right there is all the tips that you guys need to know before you go out and send your first heel whips. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you guys did, make sure to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. I put a lot of work into these videos so you guys can learn the fastest and easiest way possible to get these scooter tricks dialed. But that right there is going to do it for today's... Wait. Before we leave, go down in the comments and drop a comment for another trick tutorial that you guys want to see in the future. But that right there is going to do it for today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.